Hey everybody, it's Boo Ray Perry from Tampa, Florida, and today we are going to talk about the IT30 Flash from Godox. Godox sent me this flash to give it a once over. I've got mixed opinions about it. What we want to do here today is kind of find out if this is the flash for you. I like to make a video where I say, who is this for? Because almost every piece of gear fits somebody in some way, right? So who is this for? Is this the flash that works best for you? Is it the flash that works best for me? I'll tell you my final verdict on this flash at the end of the video. We're going to start off by just talking about all the details and stuff of this flash, and then we're going to compare it to another flash that I have said on this channel is the very best flash to use with your Fuji X100VI. So if I've already said this is the best flash to use with the Fuji X100VI, what does this one do? Where does this one stand? Well, we're going to find out. Let's take a look at this flash. The first thing you're going to notice when you look at the IT30 Pro is that it looks very familiar if you've got any experience with Fuji flashes, because Fuji made a flash that was very similar to this little square flash like this that went on top of your camera, and it was very expensive. I had one. It didn't have radio capability built into it, so you couldn't use it as a transmitter or a receiver, and I believe it was $300 or somewhere around $300. This one is $75. Great little price for a great little flash. $75. Construction looks nice. Got tons of features. Weighs in at 124 grams, so it's not very not very heavy. Has a guide number of 15, which is about 2 stops brighter than what you're going to get from this flash. So that's twice and twice again, 4 times as much light as you get from this flash. So 4 times as much light, 2 stops if you're using the IT30 instead of the flash that's built into your Fuji X100VI. Has a quick release mount, which I love. You just take this, push the quick release, and slide it on, and it's good. You want to take it off, grab it, pull it off. I love the quick release. It's got a dial screen, and it has a touch screen. So we turn it on. We have to swipe, and now we're in business. If you want to go up and down, for example, on your exposure compensation with your flash, you can just scroll with your finger. However, your finger is going to cover up the number while you're trying to scroll. So it's kind of, I don't know, counterintuitive. The good thing is there's a dial right here, and you can just do it with the dial as well. It has a sync port on the side. If you are perhaps working in 1975 and you are using a sync cable, then you can sync right in here. Takes a USB 3 charger. That's right, it charges. No more batteries. Just plug it in. Should get about 560 full power flashes, and you're very rarely using full power flashes, so that's a lot of flashes. You shouldn't have any problem. One charge should last you all day, no problem. If you hit your menu here, it took me a while to figure this out, by the way. There's 6 of these, not 4. See this little bar here? Look. Whoop, whoop. There you go. If you're using this as a transmitter or a receiver, this is where you change that setting. And yes, it took me about 20 minutes to find it. I couldn't find it right away because I didn't expect to be scrolling left and right because everything else had scrolled. I mean, up and down because left and right had been how everything has scrolled so far. It has tons of features. It's got high-speed sync. It's got a TTL to manual mode, so you can shoot in TTL and then press TCM, and it will let you lock in that power. It has a photo cell on top right here. If you want to use this just as a secondary flash and have it fire automatically from the flash on your camera, it'll do that. So it doesn't have to be wireless at all. In that respect, you can use this with your Fuji X100 without a transmitter. You could take this off camera and then let the flash here fire this. You could use it like as a kicker light or something behind for a dramatic look. So that's cool. It's got what they call the global shutter sync. Yeah. I say global shutter. If you don't know what global shutter sync is, trust me, you don't need it. People who need it know what it is, but the rest of us, when they're going to use it. It's got front and rear curtain sync. It's got a built-in diffuser right here. This is usual, manual. This is standard, normal. Click there, and it puts a little bit more diffusion down in front to, for wide. They say this is basically if you're going to be really close to your subject, then you want to put this down. I find that these sorts of diffusers really don't make that much of a difference. Get in the comments and tell me if you think they do. But in my experience, if you want to diffuse a flash, you need to make the surface of the flash bigger. There's very little that you can put in front of the flash that's going to make a big difference in the way the light hits your subject. So it's just a wonderful, touch screen, nice, fairly intuitive. I didn't have too much of a problem finding my way around, except for when I couldn't figure out that this goes up and down like this. Can you turn it this way? No. Hang on, let's go. Ah, there you go. This would have done it too. This would have found it for me. So it's possible, very possible, that I'm just an idiot. So that's the features that you get with the IT30. And here's the thing that's really cool. This is the X3, right? This is the X3 transmitter from Godox, which you can use to control Godox flashes, including the IT30 Pro. This is basically in here. Basically, everything that's in this is in this. So when you buy an IT30 Pro, you're basically getting an X3 transmitter that has a flash. And here's the crazy part. This is $75 and this is $89. This has more features because it has a flash, and it's less expensive than this is. So I have this and this because I just already had this, but I could just as easily just buy two of these. I could buy two IT30 Pros, and then not only would I get everything I get from this, but I'd also get a second flash. And it's pretty small. I mean, this is not as small as the as the X3, but still it's pretty small to use as a transmitter, right? So that's a very important consideration. And then there's this. The Godox TT350. This is the flash that I have said on my channel previously is the absolute best flash to use with the Fuji X100-6. Why? Because you can rotate the head. And being able to bounce this flash behind you and get bounce light is everything. It gives you a much better and much more pleasing light, my personal opinion, than direct flash ever will. However, it also weighs a lot more. It's 268 grams versus 124 grams, so it weighs twice as much, more than twice as much. It gives you a little bit more light. This is 3.5 stops more light than the camera. This is 2 stops more light than the camera. So 1.5 stops more light from this one than you get from this one. And it uses batteries. It's not rechargeable. And it says you can get 200 to 224 power flashes. Now, you go, ooh, only 220 versus 560 with this one? Yes, but at full power, this one is putting out a stop and a half more light than this one is. This one's putting out more than twice as much light than this one is. So if you were to dial this down and take a stop and a half off of it, then it would probably put out over 500 flashes just like this one does. So yeah, if you're using this at full power, you're getting fewer flashes, but you're also getting more light than you can get from this camera. So it's an equal trade-off. I love this flash, and I used it many times, but all right, let's look at some images. Here's our little pop Blu-ray right here. You notice I've got my little headphones there because I used to be a disc jockey, and I've got my little camera there. So this is the built-in flash on the Fuji, and you can see the big reflection here, and I left this on purpose so you can always see where the flash is. So this is mounted on a tripod, not too far back, maybe 5 feet back. So this is the built-in flash on the Fuji X100-6. Now here's the TT350. The TT350 with the flash pointed straight ahead, and you can see it's not that much different. A little bit different light spread here, but you can see the target is about the same on where it hits the board. There's built-in, there's the TT350. Now let's take the TT350 and bounce it straight up. Now we're getting a nice room light coming off the ceiling. We're going to bring down the light here, not so good. But then we get to the sweet spot, which is let's bounce it over our right shoulder. Boom. And now we're getting that great natural light looking feel. Looks like there's just a window over here throwing light. And this is the bread and butter. This is the sweet spot with the GT350, is your ability to bounce. So let's go to the IT30 Pro. IT30 Pro mounted on the camera and pointed straight ahead. Not much different, really, than the other two that we've seen, either the built-in flash or the TT350. But let's take it off the camera, put the transmitter on, put the X3 Pro on, and hold it in our left hand. Now, if we hold this flash in our hand, we can go over here and point it from the left. We can go over here and point it from the right. And keep in mind, I'm activating the camera with my hand and also moving the flash with my other hand. So I'm not moving from my position behind the camera. You can see now we're getting different light here. And you can't do this with the TT350 unless you also take the TT350 off camera and use a remote with it, and then you could. And then I'm going to bounce it behind me. And now we're getting that nice window light and everything that we got with the TT350 by bouncing the IT30 Pro as well. But in order to do this, you've got to have a remote. You've got to have a transmitter. You've either got to have the X3 Pro transmitter or another transmitter from Godox, or you've got to have two of the IT30s. But you can get all kinds of tricky once you do that. Like here, I've walked over to the side. Really, I take that back. I haven't walked. I'm just stretching my hand over to the side, really shooting from an angle from the right side, shooting from the left side. And for this, I actually took the flash and just set it down right on the board right here and did this. And you can really get in tight. You can do some interesting stuff like that. But here's the thing. Everything that I'm doing here, you could also do with the TT350. If you have the TT350 in a transmitter, there is nothing you can't do with the TT350 that you can do with the IT30. They basically are going to operate the same for you if you've got a transmitter for these two flashes. Let me just interrupt for a second so I can talk some more about me. Don't forget that if you click the links down in the description, you can find all of the stuff that's on my website. I have a gear page which shows you all of the gear that I use and talk about on the channel. And if you click one of those links and you buy something, I get a small commission and it helps me to keep this channel going. Also, I have two fantastic free guides for you. One of them's called I Bought a Nice Camera, Now What? And it's basically the 10 things that I do every time I get a new camera out of the box. These are the 10 settings that you absolutely want to pay attention to and change, a lot of times change, right when you open up your brand new camera. Also, photography basics, 20 definitions that you should know. This is just a list of the terms and phrases that you will hear repeated again and again when you watch videos like mine, and it's a great reference point so you can go back and look things up if you've forgotten something or maybe you never knew it to begin with. I've also got a couple that you can purchase, and there's always a discount code right here in the description of the video, so be sure and look for that. Natural light photography, settings, tips, and tricks for photographing people with natural light. This is 75 pages long, and it details everything that you need to know about working with natural light, finding good natural light, where to put your subject, how to turn them, how to turn their face, how to turn their body, how to set your camera up, all of it. 75 pages, all formatted for your phone. Be sure and get the discount code from the description. And also my One Light on Location video will take you on location with a model, and I will show you how to use one light off camera, on location, in multiple different scenarios to get great lighting on your subject. Be sure and click the links down in the description. Now, back to me. So, who is this flash for? If you're a person who never uses flash, or you've got a Fuji X100VI, or you've got another camera that doesn't have a built-in flash, and you just never use flash, you are a natural light photographer, then you don't need a flash. So this flash is not for you. But if you were thinking about starting to get into flash a little bit, this is a great way to get in. Small, light, portable, easy to carry with you. Use it, don't use it, not a big change in what you're carrying. Great. If you're a person who uses flash, but you just use the built-in flash on your camera, you can continue to use the built-in flash on your camera, but if you switch to the IT30 Pro, you are going to get 2 stops more of light, which can definitely make a difference. You are going to get a flash that mounts higher on your camera so that your lens hood is not going to get in the way and cut off light to the bottom of your image. You're going to get something that's light, that's easy to carry, that's convenient, easy to put on and off the camera. So if you're a person who uses the built-in flash, and that's really all you use, then I think that the IT30 is a slam dunk. At 75 bucks, you can't beat it. Get the IT30 and put it on your camera and go. What if you are a person who likes to use bounce flash? Well, the IT30 cannot replace the TT350 when it comes to the convenience of being able to bounce over your shoulder when you're taking pictures. However, and this is a big however, are you using the TT350? Because I'm not using the TT350 as much as I used to. Because I have found that the inconvenience of mounting this and keeping it on my camera, I take my camera and put it back in my bag. I've got this big flash on here. It's not going to fit in the same slot. And the weight and everything, I find that I look for every excuse not to use it. I will absolutely be like, is there a natural light source I can use before I put the bounce flash on? Or even if I'm just running and gunning, if I'm in a convention and just I run into somebody, hey, how you doing? Oh, let me take a picture. And I realize the light's terrible and I pull my flash out. I just use the flash in the camera because I'm just trying to get a quick picture. I'm not trying to get anything great. I just want a quick picture and the light's bad. So I use the flash in the camera. And that would be a little bit better if I had the IT30 on there. So I also own the X3, and I could put these two in my bag. It wouldn't be much different than carrying this one in my bag. And I can't tell you, when I pick this one up, the weight that I feel in my hand when I pick this one up versus the weight when I pick these up, it's definitely noticeable. So even though I am a bounce flash guru, right? Bounce flash till I die when I'm working professionally, I have found that I don't use bounce flash as much when I've got my Fuji unless I'm trying to do something special. And if I was trying to do something special, I could just put this on my Fuji and hold this in my hand. And then not only could I get the bounce flash I get with the TT350, I could also bounce it over here or bounce it over here or back here, but I could put it wherever I want really quick. Now I could do the same thing by putting this on my camera and using this, but this, like this, will not do anything that this can't do except 1.5 stops more of light with this, which may be a big deal to you. But I think I can do without it. So I think that for a little while at least, I'm going to try this. Because I haven't found myself using the bounce flash that much because I just don't, it's so awkward on the camera, And I do bounce flash in my professional work all the time. And when I'm not working professionally, I really don't want to be thinking professionally in that way. I don't want to be, the big gear. No, the whole reason I got the Fuji X100 series was because I wanted to get my gear smaller so I would use it more often when I was out and about. And this is a great smaller solution to this. So that's it. Hey, don't forget, there are links down in the description for everything that I've talked about. If you click one of those links and you buy something, I get a couple of dollars and it helps me to keep this channel alive. And also be sure and throw me a like and throw me a subscribe and join me all the places that you're supposed to join me, and get down in the comments and let me know what your thinking is on this whole thing. And correct me if I made a mistake somewhere. I may not comment when you correct me, but believe me, I read it. I absolutely read it. I read every single comment that comes in. Thanks for watching.